Hi guys, this is Lisha with Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am back with a wrap up of the videos that I've read so far since, let's say, the beginning of September. Yeah, most of these were for Zodiacathon. I have 5 books. Let's just get right into it. Um, this first book was me finishing off actually Mythathon from August, but I didn't make it in time. So I started this in August on the 31st. J.R. Ward's The Shadows. This is a book in her Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which is urban fantasy. And the series is about vampires in upstate New York. J.R. Ward's take on vampires is a little bit different than the norm, which is why the series was always interesting to me. There's a whole secret vampire society with hierarchy, the Glimera, which are like the nobility, and then there's a vampire king and his warriors, which are the Black Dagger Brotherhood. And they fight against the lesser society, which I don't even know. I guess they're kind of zombies in a very basic sense, but not the usual kind. There are also two like vampire offshoots, two other societies that are not vampires, but also not known to human beings, and all of these people are like upstate, so that's weird. But the reason I mention them is because they are more germane to this particular book and the storyline so far. So the first like 7 or 8 books of this series were about the Black Dagger Brotherhood members and basically their love stories and their backstories. This book is about Trez and I Am, who are not in the Black Dagger Brotherhood. They're not vampires. They are shadows, part of the Sahib, which is, like I said, one of the other races in this world that are secret from humans. And they're twin brothers. The Sahib is their race, and basically they're very astrologically based. Who becomes queen, it's a matriarchal society, and who becomes her consort basically is all set in by the stars. And Trez Trez was born at basically the right time, and so he is the chosen one sent to be the future heir of the Sahib, their race, of the future queen's consort. This was decided at his birth because of the alignment of the stars. Now remember, he has a twin brother, I Am, who was born too late. So yeah, that's the main story here. Trez is an NIM because he's a good brother and he supports his brother. Ran away from the Sahib many years ago, but now it seems like their time is running out. Trez's time in particular. On the other hand, Trez in regular outside world has fallen in love with one of the vampires chosen. The chosen, I'm not going to get into because that's a lot. But she, we learn, has some type of very rare disease that is probably going to kill her. And so Trez finds out about that, and they're dealing with that kind of countdown to when she's going to succumb to this disease, but also the countdown for when the Sahib is going to come and drag Trez back to do his duty. Even though they've been trying over the years, like now it's like, now there's a ticking clock because of whatever reasons. That's the main story of this. But you see, this is super chunky. Now the issue is that J.R. Ward has been building this world and these characters over several books. I'm not gonna lie, I forget what book this is in the series, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the 13th book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. They get thicker every time because she's adding characters, but we don't leave the old ones behind. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the Black Dagger Brotherhood. They are friends with Trez and I Am. Trez and I Am are currently actually living on their compound, and they kind of help each other out for whatever reasons. Rage, one of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, is going through some sort of PTSD and not realizing it. There's just like other stuff going on with other members of the Black Dagger Brotherhood and some political things happening. There is another sect of vampires who they're dealing with as well. And we get some point of views because there's some things happening. So like, she set up this world. There's all these people we got backstories for, but she doesn't like let them go. So while I appreciate that, this was a lot. And only about half of it, in my estimation, was about Trez and I Am story, or his love interest, is mentioned in here too, but I don't want to say anything because that will be spoilers. I will say about 3/4 of the way through, I was like, I don't know if I'm liking this, but towards the end, I did like enjoy it more. I like keeping up with what's going on with characters that were the main focus in the other books, but I don't know if doing this is the best answer. I'm glad to have gotten back to this series, and we'll see what happens with the next book. I think I gave this like a 4-star, maybe 3.5, I don't know. Alright, so from here on out, the books are not going to be that complicated. So the next book I read was the first book for the Zodiac-a-thon, and this was for my sun sign read Scorpio, give a book your DNF a second chance. This is Pride by E.B. Zaboy. I'm trying to not get the glare on there. This is a gorgeous cover. This is a Pride and Prejudice remix, and it's set in Brooklyn. The main characters are Zuri, who is Afro-Latinx. She's Haitian and half Dominican, I believe, thanks to her parents, and she lives in a part of Brooklyn that is being gentrified, basically, and one of the gentrifiers, the Darcys, move in, and they are a black family, but they're well off, mostly, I think, thanks to his father and grandmother. But anyway, I had DNF'd this because Zuri was too much. She was angry and taking it out on this poor boy who did nothing. Like, eventually he, starts getting some of his own back, but not even, like, he never did anything wrong. I love Pride and Prejudice. Mr. Darcy is an asshole. Sorry about that. We all know this. And, okay, alright. This kid, Darius, not an asshole. Not an asshole. So, I struggled. I decided to listen to the audiobook for this, which helped. It was read by Elizabeth Acevedo, the author of Poet X, which you know I loved. Um, so her voice like added that extra texture. This book is chock full of things that I don't want to say nostalgia, but like home. It's chock full of home to me. And then Elizabeth adding her New York Hispanic accent to it just was the icing on the cake. It also helped me get through this book faster. I didn't love it because I felt like Zuri was just too much. Darius did not create gentrification. He did not come there looking down upon them. He didn't act rudely. She took a lot of things and decided that that's what he was. I am happy that I felt like in the end, towards the end, she learned her lesson. But yeah. So, not a bad book. Not my favorite. I got through it. It's over. 3 stars. Next book I read was, again, for Zodiacathon. This is The First Time She Drowned by Carrie Kletter. This was for 2 prompts. One, to buddy read a book with someone who shares your moon sign. My moon sign is Aquarius. So the prompt for Aquarius was to read a sad book, and this was picked out by the group on Twitter. So we had like a group read. Well, it was 3 of us. This was nice. It was sad. At first I was like, this is just fucked up because there's a lot of family issues and a lot of it is stemming from some mental instability. I wouldn't say mental illness, but they mess with each other emotionally, and it's passed down through the generations. And this is about basically Cassie O'Malley. We start off and she is leaving a mental institution which she was involuntarily checked into at 16. Now she's 18. She signed herself out and she's going to college. But honestly, due partially to the childhood that she had with her mother, and then well, both her parents. Her mother is overbearing and her father is just really passive and neglectful to an extent. And then being in a mental institution for so many years, Cassie, her ability to take care of herself is like non-existent. That was one of the big questions that I had, and some of the others had when we were reading this. It's just like she's let out of this place. They don't want her to leave, but she's let out, and then how is she going to take care of herself? She never has before, but she's going to college. Does she have a dorm? Does she know how to get there? How is she gonna feed herself? Like basic things like that, because she was in this mental institution. So we get that. It's kind of, it's a coming of age, but in a very fucked up way. It's very sad, and I did cry towards the end. Like the last 9 chapters or so really hit me hard. There's the other thing is like Cassie doesn't really know how to be in any kind of relationship either, because all of her familial bonds were non-existent. She had one friend in school, and he was dealing with his own shit, so, and they weren't that close and not even for that long. She had friends in the mental institution, but they couldn't be there for her. So I didn't know exactly how to rate this. It was very well written. It was very emotional. I didn't like it. um, but it was a good book. I think I gave this either 3 or 4 stars, if that matters. Next, I read the last Zodiacathon book, Attack on Titan, volume number 25. This was for my rising sign prompt. I'm a Gemini rising. Read a sequel. So I picked this because I had like 2 days left or 1 day left and no time. So volume number 25, we're back in the action. If you don't know, Attack on Titan is I'm trying to remember the original premise at the beginning. It's about these people who live in a town surrounded by walls. They don't leave the walls because the walls are outside or dangerous to human beings, filled with these things called titans, which are these giant human-like figures that eat regular people. And like I said, they're giants. They cause a lot of destruction. They don't really think, they just eat. And this society is, like I said, behind these giant walls to protect them until a humongous, the colossal titan shows up out of the blue one day and kicks through their walls as if you were knocking over some Legos. And that's the beginning of, we start following our main characters as they become refugees and then join the army, and then join a specific part of the armed forces that go out to not only kill titans but also to observe and try to figure out how to stop them. And this is volume number 25. It's a manga. There is an anime that I am watching. The anime just finished up season 3 recently. This is past that, which is fine. I was really happy with this. I can't wait to the next volume. Each volume has like 3 or 4 manga in it, I think. Chapters. Yeah, which chapter? So this is, I don't know. Oh, episode 102 chapters. I'm saying chapters. Episode 99 to 102 is what's in this. We are seeing our friends from paradise again. The action kicks up. We get some background about what politically has been decided. In the previous volume, it was more like, oh, I don't know. There was a lot of secrecy and double talk, but now like that was explained. And yeah, the action kicked off once again. So I definitely gave this 5 stars. I love it. And my last book that I've read so far is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 2 in the first Mistborn era, in the first Mistborn trilogy. And this was my original choice for my read a sequel prompt for Zodiacathon, but I didn't finish it in time, so this is my backup, and I picked it up real quick. I love this. I didn't like it as much as the first book. Mistborn are these people who can ingest metals, and that gives them various powers depending on what metals they've ingested. Those are allomancers or mistings. Mistborn can use all of the metals, while other mistings can only use 1 or 2. And that gives them only 1 or 2 powers. So this is a follow-up. I won't go too deep, but this in general is this trilogy and this era of Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Basically, we're 1,000 years after the bad guy won. This is an adult fantasy, and usually it's like there's kind of a quest or some kind of people are out to defeat the bad guy and win. In this case, all of that happened already and the bad guy won, and he's been ruling for thousands of years already. And we have these people who are part of a race that has basically been enslaved by the Lord Ruler for all these years, and they decide they want to change things. They're led by a guy who says this is, you know, he's already been beaten once by the Lord Ruler, but he's gonna get back at him, and he has more information and things up his sleeve than people realize, even his team. It's kind of, the way he pitches it to them is kind of like a heist, but it's more like a quest. So that was book one. Book two is the aftermath of all of that. I like this. I like where the characters are going, how in complex they are. Like there's no like everybody is all good or all bad, except for Straff. I don't really like Straff. I thought he was an asshole through and through. I didn't think he was that bad in the first book, but this one really made it worse. But I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars, maybe 3.5, because I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I'm definitely looking forward to the next book. And that's all I have. I was hoping to have more by this point, but it is what it is. So if you would like to follow me on Goodreads, my Goodreads is down in the description below, as well as my social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and my Etsy shop. If you're interested, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next wrap.